in 1 year, there has been not even a single women's safety meeting. Till the time we don't meet, till the time the centre and the state do not work in coordination, which can be ensured by the Lieutenant Governor, there is absolutely no change that we will witness in the society.
A 2.5-year-old boy from Gurgaon was abducted, attacked by acid by a stalker because his mother said no to the stalker who was continuously harassing her.
जो इसमें गोविंद नाम का मुलजिम है, इसको कल अरेस्ट किया है, आज इसको पेश अदालत कर।
No, I think the situation is the same as before. I don't see any changes around here, so I would say no, nothing.
अभी पूरी तरीके से नहीं कह सकते कि वुमेन्स आर सेफ। हमको भी सोचना पड़ेगा कि हम अपनी थोड़ी सुरक्षा खुद से करें और दूसरे लोगों की सोच भी बदले। सरकार कितना भी कुछ भी करेगी, लेकिन सोच तो बदलनी पड़ेगी लोगों को खुद ही।
केसेस दिन ब दिन ज़्यादा ही होते जा रहे हैं और रादर अब तो लाइमलाइट में आ रहे हैं। अगर लगवाए भी हैं तो फिर इन चीज़ों पे एक्शन होना चाहिए। उनके लगवाने का कोई फ़ायदा नहीं है अगर एक्शन नहीं लेते तो।
Unfortunately, viewers, things simply seem to be getting worse. Now, stalkers in Delhi who are not receiving attention are attacking little children. A 2-year-old child had acid thrown on him and he was smothered. And the man you see on your screen right now threw the child in a dustbin, assuming that the child was dead. Luckily, from what we understand, the child is recovering in hospital, but the reason for this crime, the motive for this crime was because this man was stalking the child's mother and she did not respond to his advances. Women are becoming playthings and now their children are being used as weapons to attack them. Our governments seem to still think that priority for crime against women is very low. Despite the increasing number of acid attacks that are happening in our country, there's very little being done. When someone like the man you see on your screen can access acid as easily as he can from any market and use it to hurt a 2-year-old child, fundamentally to hurt the woman who gave birth to that child. The rape cases continue. Our pleas for help continue, but we receive absolutely no reaction from our governments. What are the governments doing? Whether it's the government of Delhi or the central government or the government of Haryana, what is going on and why aren't women a priority? Why isn't more being done to stop acid attacks? Where is our government right now? Where is the Women and Child Ministry? These are the questions we're asking tonight, viewers, and our phone lines are open. But on the show with me, Raman Malik representing the BJP Haryana, Amee Yajnik Spokesperson of the Congress Party, Trisha Shetty is a lawyer and founder of SheSays NGO. She's been helping us and battling with us for the rights of women. Pranali Shah is a senior manager at the Acid Survivors Foundation. And we also have Vikram Singh, former DGP Uttar Pradesh, who joins us in our Noida studio. I want to welcome everybody to this conversation. Raman Malik, I'm going to start with you. Terrible, unfortunate case. And I want to understand why the government of Haryana is not doing more to stop acid attacks, why the government of Haryana is not doing more to protect its women.
Number one, I would like to correct some facts here. First of all, any attack on any child, any woman, any person is a cause for concern for any sane person in the society. But with that, one must understand the facts about this particular case that you're talking about. The acid used is the house cleaning acid, which is out of the list of the banned acids. That is number one. Number two, the stalking that is done was that the woman, the mother of this child and this person who's been nabbed, his sister had some issue, and then the stalking was done for revenge. That are two major parts of it which should not be avoided. As per the government of Haryana is concerned,
accepted. Let's accept those 2 points. Let me take this point by point. Raman Malik, let's accept the 2 points that you're making. One, that the acid that was used is household cleaning acid. The other one, that the stalking was done because of a disagreement. How does that change any of the premise of the conversation that we're having today, that women are still unsafe, that acid is easily available, and that a 2-year-old was attacked?
Correct. So, the point here is that the woman was, the woman and the child, the way the family was stalked or whatever, we may say it, but the family was grieved in this case. And that is something which is more of a crime committed within from the society. And this is a crime which happened because of revenge. Now, crime is a crime immaterial of the cause, and it has been taken to task. The person has been held, he's been taken up by the police, interrogations are being done, everything is happening. Within 2 days the person was taken up. And the entirety, when we talk about Haryana, the acid attacks in Haryana have reduced remarkably, and probably there have been 4 cases, if I'm not wrong, till now, in the entire if I'm not wrong, 18 months or 16 months. And beyond that, if we say what are we doing, we have worked remarkably well in creating a system whereby women thanas are there in every district. There are officers, there are patrolling cars. We are developing the system which was totally non-existent. We have been able to do these things under the able leadership of the CM, who is personally taking interest into creating this ecosystem which was not of priority for any other government. What we have done is that even the police, the normal constabulary and everything, we have given adequate, almost 33% reservation for women there also.
All right. Raman Malik, let me just point out to you that what you're referring to, the Mahila Police Volunteer Program, was announced on the 15th of December this year. So the program has been announced, but it has not been actioned yet. And I want to bring in Pranali Shah. Pranali Shah, you work with the Acid Survivors Foundation. Just rebut what Mr. Malik is saying about
out of the 4,000 people being taken up in the police, 1,000 is women.
Pranali Shah.
I don't understand this concept of pouring acid. It's like once it is banned also from the Supreme Court, why is it easily available in the market? As a cleaning agent also, it should not be available in the market, basically. There has to be strict action to be taken. Some implementation has to be taken care of. Some registration has to be taken care of. Every shop who is selling acid, they should keep records as to who is buying and selling the acids. If this is not taken care, it is going to increase, it's right. Like from...
So your argument is even as a cleaning agent, acid should not be freely available in the markets right now, and that is what is causing the problem?
Yes.
Vikram Singh, we've had rules about acid attacks, and I want to just point out to our audience what the numbers are. 2011, there were 83 attacks that were reported. In 2014, there were 309 acid attacks that were reported. 185 acid cases were reported in Uttar Pradesh alone, Vikram Singh. This is obviously being used as a cheap and corrupt weapon against women, Vikram Singh. What are we supposed to do?
186.
Absolutely fair. Let me interject. Firstly, an acid bottle is available at 30 rupees a bottle, which is a lot cheaper for the perverts, psychopaths and the jilted lovers. That it comes much cheaper than a knife, a Rampuri chakku or a country-made pistol. Therefore, all the perverts take recourse to acid throwing, and I would like to bring before you and the learned panelists, it is not the domestic use of acids, it is the pH value, which is the acidity or the alkalinity, which should be between 11.5 and 14, whether it is domestic or industrial or whatever be the use, it has to be sold in a controlled manner on the license of a subdivisional magistrate, and the penalty is 50,000 rupees if the storage sale is not as per the norms of the Government of India directives post Lakshmi versus Union of India case, in which the Supreme Court gave details, guidelines, and the Government of India MHA also gave directives to the Chief Secretaries and the Director Generals of the Police. Now, any acid that is responsible for dermal corrosion or subcutaneous injury or reduces muscle into just gory lumps of flesh, that acid cannot be sold, whether it is of domestic use supposedly or industrial use. And therefore, how many cases have we had of 326A ending in conviction? We had a death sentence by Mr. Ujjwal Nikam in Maharashtra of Ankur. Apart from that, I have yet to come across either in Uttar Pradesh or in Bihar, Punjab or Haryana, a deterrent punishment being meted out to the perverts and the roadside Romeos. Any such case that does not end in
Vikram Singh, it's this, while you're talking about a deterrent, Vikram Singh, while you're talking about a deterrent, the statement that Raman Malik, representing the BJP Haryana, just said, where the stalking was done for revenge, it was a problem that the two women had among each other. This sort of excuses, this sort of talk is what allows people the kind of boldness to go ahead with this sort of thing. So what if the stalking was done for revenge? It's still stalking, it's still a crime. You still hurt a child, you've still hurt a woman.
Stalking is stalking. It doesn't condone the offense in any manner. To the contrary, the police should have been alive to the fact that somebody is being stalked and somebody is stalking. And therefore, effective surveillance is responsible for putting an end to all such predators and their depredations. If this does not happen, then there's a huge question mark on the system of policing and the surveillance systems and the CCTVs. We should regularly monitor those habitual offenders, those who are stalking our ladies and our women folk, and therefore to put, not to nip it in the bud, but to crush it in the bud.
Well, I want to bring in Amee Yajnik here, spokesperson of the Congress party. Amee Yajnik, crime against women continues. Raman Malik, okay. Raman Malik respond and then Amee Yajnik. Raman Malik.
My simple point here is that, one, that all that the reason why I mentioned that this was what was the background of this crime was for the information, because as you had, you had narrated the opening remarks of yours, in that it was not there that this particular crime that we are talking about here now had been on the basis of revenge and not the Romeo stalking kind of issue. That is number one. Number two, we in Haryana have been doing a lot of work. We have a society whereby a lot of issues were there when it came between men and women, gender inequality, thinking of women not being at par with men and all those kind of issues. And we have been doing these social reforms at the grassroots level. You will be surprised that when we do it and we have women and children, let's say a young girl of 23, 24 becomes a sarpanch who's done an MBA and starts transforming the village and the society together, that is the change which is required. Lip service would not solve it, and we are doing it from the grassroots level. That is all that I wanted to say.
You know,
Agreed, Mr.
Raman Malik, let me tell you what lip service is. Lip service is the draft national women's policy that is still a draft today in December 2016. And on page 6 or 7, after it brings up a lot of things, it finally settles on violence against women. And this is the lip service that draft national women's policy offers us. It says, efforts to address violence will be continued. Efforts to improve sex ratio will be continued. Trafficking will receive prioritized attention. Monitoring response of enforcement will be put in place. Now, this is lip service. This is lip service. The entire policy, nowhere does it mention how any of these objectives will be achieved. The fact that efforts will address violence will continue actually suggests that there are efforts currently in place, which, let me point out, there aren't. Trisha Shetty, I was very disappointed when I read through the draft national women's policy. What is your reaction to what we've seen? One second. Raman Malik, 1 second. Let me get other people
in my state.
1 second, Raman Malik. Trisha Shetty.
Sure.
Also going back to 2015 statistics and data, because I don't have the current updated one, 67 crimes against women are reported daily in Haryana. I think it's unfortunate that we have representatives constantly trying to peddle the narrative that enough is being done, that we are taking care of women's safety. Clearly enough is not being done. This is not an attack against a politician or against a political party, because all of that is irrelevant to me. I'm politically agnostic as well. What is relevant to me is the status of a woman in society. What is relevant to me is that women are not safe. So to try and peddle this narrative that, you know what, we are doing enough. No. How about we just honestly own up that enough is not being done? There are no deterrent measures being put in place. There is still this hostile environment against women. Criminals are definitely emboldened and brazen in their attacks against women. If you don't acknowledge the premise of the problem that we're trying to address and constantly try and sell people on the notion that, you know, as representatives, we are doing enough, we care for women's safety, don't just say it. Prove it to us, and we have enough proof to the contrary that women are no safer than they were, and anyone who says that anything to the contrary, I'm sorry, does not know what's happening on ground.
67 crimes against women in Haryana every day, Raman Malik, every day.
Faye, can I get okay. Faye, now the point is, one must understand that nowhere earlier was this done, that the opening up of FIRs in terms to that any person today has two ways of filing an FIR in Haryana and cannot be stopped. The complaints would not be stopped on any pretext whatsoever. One is going to any thana and putting it, and the second is online system. Now, what we have done is we have separated the FIR system, that would be the kind of appraisal, or that would be the graph that we will take. So what is happening is we've given confidence to people that if you are grieved for anything, any law and order issue, anything which has got criminality in it, not just women right, anything, you must go and file a complaint, and then it is the objective for the state police to get verifications, investigations done, and get the entire system working so that the complaint is redressed. Now, this is the kind of approach that is required.
But Raman Malik, that's part of the law. Trisha Shetty, that's part of the law.
They don't even have confidence to take to the streets to reclaim their social lives.
That was not
How are you
available
talking
for the
about
last
confidence
60
to file
years,
an FIR? That is part of the law. No police official can deny a woman from filing an FIR complaint.
At least in Haryana, I can tell you,
enforcing law is not something that we should be proud of. As for confidence, I wish women had confidence to take this to the streets and not feel like they have to constantly account for their own safety. If you're telling me that women in Haryana feel safe to get down on the streets, then I don't know which women you're referring to.
Amee Yajnik, I'm going to bring in Amee Yajnik here. Amee Yajnik, as...
I have never referred. I have not referred that women are safe. All that I'm saying, we've given the confidence that you can go and file a complaint.
Let me bring in Amee Yajnik here.
So
Amee Yajnik, it's obvious enough is not being done. And let me make this very clear. This is not about one political party or one government. The truth is there isn't a single government in this country that's making women feel safe in any state or in the central government. Amee Yajnik, where are the governments falling short? Why isn't the priority for safety for women and children on the top of the list for any of our governments?
I think we have utterly failed our women as far as safety is concerned. You talk about laws. We don't want to talk about laws because there are enough laws now. 2013, we had the Nirbhaya Kand, we had the amendment, criminal law amendments for stalking, for acid throwing, for gang rape, you name, and whatever was left, eve teasing from 354 section, they can go to a police station, file an FIR. We are not on the mode of filing FIR, whether it's online or somebody can immediately go and file an FIR. Laws are there. Where is the implementation, and who is going to implement? We may talk about political parties, we may talk about governments, but nothing is being done enough. What about the Nirbhaya fund? I think the Nirbhaya fund is just lying as it is. The center has not even given that fund to the several states. Forget about the data about women being assaulted in public places, within homes, because there's a Domestic Violence Act. But how many women are empowered or even aware of their rights to go to a particular police station or go to a particular NGO. On one side, the NGOs are practically becoming redundant in a way. They can't function. The government does not have the wherewithal. They don't have the awareness programs. The women don't even know. They're so frightened they can't go to the police. The Mahila police stations are not well equipped. If they are equipped, then there are complaints of sensitization. They are not sensitive enough. They say it's a family problem. You don't come to us. And now you look at the accused. You are flashing the photograph of this accused. Does the government have a plan to have a deterrent effect of these kind of incidents? Why can't they flash these photos on every nook and corner and just put the person to trial and get an order from the court that yes, these are crimes that are being committed every day. Women are so helpless.
Well, Amee Yajnik, let me point out, let me read out something for you.
There has to be a family member who has to go with her to the police station. No, and let me just complete. So in order to empower women, we need to come out with some programs, whether the state commission is completely equipped with a council of women who can go and have inquiry commissions, can give some suggestions. Are there multi-purpose women centers, just as we have these pan gallas at every nook and corner? Do we have awareness counters? We need to have that.
Amee Yajnik, let me read out something to you. Amee Yajnik, let me read out something to you.
Fear of the police.
One second, madam.
One
second, madam. Let me read out something to you. Bangalore, May 4th, 2016, 19-year-old student gang raped in a moving auto rickshaw in broad daylight in Bangalore. Bangalore, September 9th, 2016, a boss rapes a woman in front of her son when he takes her on what he called a field trip to Coorg. Bangalore, May 3rd, 2016, in a shocking incident, a woman was dragged and kidnapped in public view. Bangalore is being governed by a Congress government, Amee Yajnik. The truth is that none of our governments are doing enough. The truth is that there is no deterrent. The truth is that people who commit these crimes in any of our cities believe from the bottom of their hearts that they can get away with it. And that is why it is being done. Ranjana Kumari, we just had Raman Malik tell us that there is plenty being done for women to feel comfortable and confident to file FIRs in any police station in Haryana. Ranjana Kumari, do you agree?
Well, you know, Faye, this is really strange that when the cases are increasing and police is reporting the cases, then police is taking the credit that we are reporting the cases. And you know, there was a study recently done and we found that 150 cases were reviewed and almost, except for 10 cases, there were so many which there was not proper evidence collected by the police, there was not proper investigation done by police, evidence and witness turned hostile, so everybody got scot-free. On the one side, that is the story. On the other side, that, you know, there is no fear of police. People do not really think that they can't get away with that. There is so much impunity about, you know, committing any crime against women, and that is why, you know, and when you talk to about this with the police today only, I'm coming from a discussion which we had organized. Safe cities is smart city. You can't have a city. You can't have a city where you can't go to a park. If you can't go to a park in your own city where you live in your own vicinity, then you can't even. Then how? Why should you live in that home in that city? How can you live in that home and feel safe?
Just tell me, do you believe Haryana is safe?
That is the situation we have been reduced to now.
Do you believe Haryana is safe?
No, I don't think any state is safe. And you know, politicians tend to, no, it is not. Politicians are tending to just blame each other. I'm asking a question even for Amee Yajnik. Why should we take political positions on this? What happened to Nirbhaya Fund? When Nirbhaya Fund was institutionalized at the time of Congress government, Arun Jaitley put another 1,000 crore on that. 3,000 crore rupees are waiting and nothing has happened so far from that money. One-stop crisis intervention center was the idea of the UPA government. Why did they not implement it? Now India government is also not implementing it. You know, except for symbolic one Sakhi Kendra here and others Sakhi Kendra. In whole state you open one Sakhi Kendra. Can you imagine how these Kendras are going to serve how many people?
How many people in whole of Delhi? We have only 16 protection officers for women. So pathetic is the situation. And then we start saying, oh, this is what is happening in NDA. This is what is happening. Please speak like women. Please speak. Let's get together. Let's demand, more safer cities, more better policing. Institutions should be in place. Mechanism should be in place. Quick response system should be in place. Why are we not getting all this done? Because we are only politicizing the issues. We are not really asking hardcore questions. What about safety of my daughter? What about safety of my neighbor's daughter? My own safety. Why are we not talking about in these terms, thinking like women of this country, this city, this place, and saying that we have to get, this is as a citizen my right to be.
Our demand, Ranjana Kumari, our demand on this channel.
Yeah, it is my right, whichever may be the government.
Yeah, our demand on this channel from every government is that they create a public database that is online of every convicted offender. So if someone is a stalker, if someone has thrown acid at some point, if someone has attempted to throw acid at some point, his face, his Aadhaar number, his fingerprints need to be publicly available so that anyone who's going to hire him, anyone who's going to rent an apartment to him, anyone who's going to allow them into their houses can know who these people are. These people should never be allowed to work again. They should never be allowed to marry. They should be socially ostracized. And that is the only way to deter them from doing something like this. Ranjana.
But Faye, but you will be shocked and surprised that even police does not have that kind of a database. Today only we heard from two different states, from Karnataka, from Delhi police, and from police coming from Telangana. We just heard that kind of a database is missing. You remember in the last program I said that in other countries there are DNA profiling of these kind of culprits, and you can easily connect the two DNAs and you can immediately catch the person, even by finding a piece of hair in the area where or in the room or wherever this crime has been committed. You can really see two together and can really. We had asked for such a listing at the time of Nirbhaya. We said, put them into the public domain by just putting it on the net. But even they don't have this kind of a, proper, comprehensive, intrastate,
ridiculous. Raman Malik, and I'm also going to bring in Vikram Singh. It's absolutely ridiculous, Raman Malik, when we're talking about digitizing India, we're talking about Aadhaar cards for every Indian. We're talking about using our mobile phones to be able to transfer money and no longer use cash. How can we not have a database of people who are so dangerous to society, of people who are so dangerous to our daughters? What is the government doing? Should this not be top priority? If we are so proud of our ability to digitize and database, why aren't we doing it here?
Okay. So first of all, let me come on to this, that I have never said that Haryana is totally safe. All that I have said is that Haryana is transforming from a state which had a major problem of gender inequality, and it is moving towards being awakened of the fact that gender equality is a birth-given right. So that transformation we are doing. All that I said was that, and the means and ways that we have done. Secondly, let me come on to this, that I really do not know as per law if one can do it, but the idea is very good, that the availability of criminals who have conducted crime, of stalking or have done things, should be made available, should be there. That is a very good idea. A step further, people who have harassed.
It's completely legal, it can be done.
See, all that I'm saying is that the idea of naming, I do not know. I am not aware of it. I would have to
you
read
can
the
do it,
law,
and Delhi Police website already has such a sex offenders registry available on their website. So once you are convicted, you have every right to reveal identity, and Delhi Police already has that.
See, I am not going to commit or say anything which I do not have information about, and there's no shame in accepting for a spokesperson that yes, you do not have a knowledge on a particular subject, because we are not antaryamis. But then the idea is noble. I'm going to sit down and talk about this to my police commissioner, at least of Gurgaon, to start looking at this angle and how much we can do it as a pilot project. This I would do. I'm telling you on your show. So that is one point. But then my bigger question here is that these things, and this is not political, this is something which we must understand, that all these kind of crimes that are happening, it is basically the shortcoming in our social setup which needs to educate these people that you have to understand that just because you are born in a particular sex does not give you the penultimate right to do whatever you feel right. No, that is not your birth-given right. Every human being who is born, whether it's a male, female or a transgender, has its own right, and it must be respected.
It's funny that every time we ask about things, the only recourse that people have is education.
Is that the
reform.
failure of the
So I'm going to
last
ask
2.5
Vikram Singh something. Vikram Singh.
Is that the failure of the last 2.5 years?
Vikram Singh. One second, Raman Malik. I have this question for Vikram Singh. Vikram Singh, as the retired DGP, when you were in the force, how often was a perpetrator rounded up and a politician or another powerful person came into the police station and said, "Jaane dijiye na, is ladka hai. Uski career barbaad ho jayegi." How often did somebody important walk into the police station and tell the girl's family to bring the case back because it would be really bad for the family? How often does that happen? How often is that a problem in our society?
Very pertinent question, Faye. More often than not, in 99% of the cases, it happens that somebody resourceful would come and say, in a very affectionate and patronizing manner, "Ye hamare bacche hain, aankhon ke tare hain, laal hain." They should have been ashamed of themselves. I know if my late parents, if I had committed that means, my parents would have made pulp or mincemeat out of me in no time. This is the societal change that has happened in the last 50 years. And Faye, let me tell you, that the BPRND has started a pilot project known as the CCTNS to digitize the data of all criminals, all wanted criminals and all those who are convicted. Every police station in India has a register number 10 that is known as Register Badmashan. All stalkers, all eve teasers and all those convicted should find a mention in register number 10. You may recall that we had a die-hard criminal of the Uber cab,
But it has
again,
not been
where
done
he
as
committed
yet,
a horrendous
Mr. Singh.
rape.
Hello?
No, I'm aware of that, but again, it has to be reinforced.
It has not been done yet.
I would just draw your attention to another
The
episode.
software is not
How
complete.
It has not been done.
Even
Indeed,
today we heard that the software is not
25% has been
complete.
done. Software is not complete. There are hardware and software mismatch. There are so many glitches. But the least you can do, ma'am, is to incorporate in your register Badmashan register number 10. That is not rocket science. Madam, just one small point, one quick point. The Uber rape case, when the driver, when he was apprehended, such a die-hard, I would, with your permission and with due apologies, would say, कि I am a Kamdev. And if the police were to know what they know professionally, this Kamdev would have become a Ramdev in 24 hours. But the very fact that the police tend to soft pedal on such issues, do not handle things in a manner and come down like a ton of bricks on such people, such Kamdevs are at large at society.
Vikram Singh, why do the police handle these cases? Why are police gentle on these cases?
Police, probably the cult of masculinity that prevails in the police department. It was very refreshing for Mr. Raman to say that we now have 25% of women entrants in the police. But the cult of masculinity that prevails in the police, that pervades all over, right from constable right up to the topmost level. Perhaps such crime do not get the importance and the undivided attention which they should. The no-nonsense approach and perhaps the killer instinct that is required in the police to pursue them vigorously, that is totally lacking.
Well, I want to bring in Pranali Shah. Pranali Shah, when someone files a case about an acid attack, what is the reaction that they get from the police? When women go to the police to say, so-and-so is stalking me, please help me, before the acid attack takes place, what is the reaction that they get from the police?
There is no FIR being lodged at the police station. Once the acid attack has taken place, FIR has been lodged and the person is in the hospital. Once the treatment is done, anybody going to get the copy of FIR also, they don't get it from the police station. They always say that you have to get the family member, and the family member is already there in the hospital. So who is going to get the FIR copy to go ahead so that they can file a case, they can go ahead for the compensation? Nothing has been taken care of during that time.
And what sort of compensation do governments offer acid attack victims?
Currently it is 3 lakh to every victims. But it doesn't come because they ask for n number of documents, that is the medical papers and the FR copies. FR copies has not been given to the family member because the family member is he or she is there in the hospital. So it becomes very difficult to get the medical papers and the FR copies. Once that is done, we give it for compensation. An application has been done, but the compensation amount doesn't come in as early it should have been.
Well, the number of acid attack cases increase in our country at 3 lakh rupees compensation, which normally doesn't get received. Let me point out that reconstructive surgery for an acid attack victim costs close to 30 lakh rupees. Surgery that they will not be able to afford because the government is also, let me point out, a boys' club. Like Vikram Singh pointed out that the police is a boys' club and it is a club of masculinity. So is the government. Let's take a look at what our union government has done. Beti Bachao, health, education, banking for women. Where is violence against women? Raman Malik, where is violence against women in the priorities for our union government? Where is the Women and Child Ministry? What have they done up till now? The Nirbhaya Fund, like Ranjana Kumari pointed out, of 3,000 crore rupees has been underutilized as per a parliamentary panel report. The Women and Child Ministry has done nothing with the Nirbhaya Fund. The 661 stop centers for victims of rape have not been opened. They've put up new deadlines saying that we'll open 150 by next year, but they haven't done enough. Where is the accountability for the Women and Child Minister? What is she doing? What has she achieved? What is the government doing? Why isn't violence against women and violence against children and sexual crimes, why isn't it top priority for our government? Why aren't we top priority for the government?
The top priority should be today that
finish then.
What you're saying is absolutely correct.
Go ahead, Raman Malik.
Right. So whatever you're saying makes a lot of sense. That why isn't it? And a lot of steps have been taken and been done.
Go ahead, Raman Malik.
Can I say, or would Ma'am
Go ahead, Raman Malik. Finish what you're saying, and then Ranjana will respond. Raman Malik.
Right. So there are a lot of initiatives which have been done by Women and Child Ministry, and I would give you a very interesting example that once we are saying, especially if you take Haryana as a case study, where the woman was supposed to be oppressed so much that she would not able to get out of that house, that Char Diwari, we are making sure that everything is turned around so that awareness is there between the two. When I say the two is not just the women about what is their right and how they can attain it, but also the very fact that the other people that include the older generation, the men, the village elders and other people around, that they must be aware that enough is enough and stop this right now. Every human being has got equal rights. Criminality is not based on a gender. A crime is a crime and should be dealt in the harshest way. And so is the misuse of law. The law is there to protect, and everybody is supposed to follow the law. Whoever does not is an offender.
I want to bring in Ranjana Kumari. Ranjana, you know the thing that disappoints me most of all.
Can I say something?
Yes, Ranjana, the thing that disappoints me most of all is that we have governments who love to make big bang announcements. When was the last time we heard a big bang announcement for the women of this country? Ranjana, when was the last time this government made a big bang reform for the women of this country?
Yeah, only Mr. Malik says, who couches in the most condescending, in most patronizing language, in this most flowery, right politically correct words, that he's trying to convince that his government is doing enough. In fact, even State Commission for Women is not in order. The commission which was there was not allowed to function. New commission person was appointed and court cases on. Beti Bachao, Pedi Padhao, less said is better. Because we were trying to do something in Mahendragarh, even DC doesn't call a meeting. He doesn't know because we are working in many districts of Haryana. So for me, it's a first-hand information in Haryana what is going on. So, instead of all this lecture, let me tell you, you put your finger on the right nerve, which is hurting us the most. Look what he says. We are trying to do this. Who are these we? We are this bunch of political men who sit in name of our representative in state assemblies and national parliament. And do you know, national parliament does not discuss women's issues, violence against women issues even once. I'm so sad to say that even when there are 49 women members, they are not speaking because they are so fearful of these men, because their future political career depends on these men. So we means we are here begging, please give us safety and security. In fact, the discourse has to change now. As a right of the nation, citizenship, we have a right to have safe home, safe community and safe public place. Who are we? We are these men who are sitting and delivering safety and security to us and not doing enough because it doesn't matter to them. Only at the time of vote it matters to them, and otherwise no. Otherwise everybody's learned this very nice language of gender equality, men and women have to be equal. Do you know
Faye, I would like to comment.
Started in Gurgaon today by throwing acid on a little child? Because no, listen to me, because yeah, you will not like it, Mr. Malik, because I know this patronizing patriarchal political system that Indian women are living are where we are condemned to beg, and we are not going to beg anymore. We are going to demand. It is our right. You have to, the government that you control, the resources that you control in these state assemblies and parliament, the budgets that you prepare and present. Otherwise, even 3,000 crore could not be spent by central government. Why? We don't have any mechanisms, we don't have quick response system by the police. So many things we are talking about. Every time we come back to these programs and say the same things, and we hear the same things from you all. But tell me one step, you're saying many things have been done. What are those many things? Can you count? Can you tell us that every district, every village, every home, women are becoming safer? It is better. In fact, data is going bad to worse now. Over 350,000 cases just last year have been registered. Of course, more registration is happening because police can go to jail if they don't register. But all the same cases are increasing. All the same cases are increasing. So what kind of a, safety and security? And now even little baby is not spared. Tell me one thing, have you ever arrested a single acid shop where these people are able to get the acid? Acid is treated as poison according to our law now. So how come the acid is available?
Acid is readily available. Rahul Easwar joins us on this conversation. Rahul Easwar, rules are made by an old boys club in the government who refuses to even acknowledge women as and safety and violence against women as a problem which has never been discussed in Parliament.
Ranjana Kumari.
All right, I'm just going to bring Rahul Easwar into the conversation, and then Raman Malik, you can respond. Rahul Easwar.
लैपटॉप ये वाईफाई भी करके
All right, I'm not sure if Rahul can hear us. Raman Malik, you wanted to respond, go ahead.
See, when we discuss issues on such sensitive topics, we should talk about the issues without being biased. And the idea should be to address the issue, not our egos and our desires.
Who is
Raman Malik, who is being biased?
I don't know.
What the point is,
please be specific. Who's being biased? Is Ranjana being biased towards women, or am I being biased towards women?
The point is,
women suffering around me.
Who are you referring to? Raman Malik, who are you referring to? Who, according to you, is being biased and egoistic right now? Please let us know.
Please, can you let me speak? Rather than pouncing onto me, Ranjana Kumari ji, can you please let me speak?
No, you just accused one of us, between Ranjana and me, you accused one of us of being biased and egoistic. I want to know who you're referring to.
This is a very sensitive topic. This is a very sensitive topic. We should understand that every person may not be the same as Ranjana ji is referring.
Raman Malik, let me point out to you that the women on this panel do not need to be schooled on the sensitivity of the topic of crime against women. None of the women on this panel need to be schooled on the sensitivity of this topic. We are well aware of the dangers of crime against women. I promise you, we live it every day.
Even a man can be sensitive about the very fact that he has a daughter and he has to give her a good future.
Tina, this is my
so
problem.
Please do not paint all with the same brush. That is all that I am referring to. So that is one point. The second point is that the citizen, whether male, female or transgender, has equal rights. And they are not supposed to be begged, they are supposed to be rights which are there constitutionally given.
Heard that.
And anybody who starts to
we don't have equal
hinder
rights.
in deliverance of those constitutional rights is at fault. That is the bottom line. One must understand that. So before we start saying that we have to beg, we don't have to beg. Sorry, my daughter will not beg. My daughter has a right in this constitution to take.
You're being very idealistic, Raman Malik. You're being very idealistic.
Don't you be in any illusion, Mr. Malik. Don't you be in any illusion unless you send her abroad to live.
Let me point out
I'm sorry, Mr. Malik.
A single woman in this country who feels safe every day. Not one woman in this country feels safe every day. We are constantly looking over our shoulders. We're constantly living a half life. We're constantly under fear. We're constantly being told to come back home at a certain time. We're constantly worried about what we are wearing, where we are going, who we are with, who's in the lift with us. Even for 5 minutes, none of the women in this country feel safe. And the reason why we are saying we have to beg for our rights is because the other members of this panel know that for the last 2 weeks in the city of Mumbai, considered one of the safest cities in this country, we have been demanding that the police take more action and more stringent action against the rape and a murder of a 24-year-old in her own bedroom. Which means our bedrooms are no longer safe in this country. Even if we go home and lock the door and go to bed, we are not safe in this country. It doesn't matter what we are wearing. It doesn't matter where we are going or who we are with. We are not safe. So, Raman Malik, if you are under some sort of illusion that some member of your family is safe in this country, let me point out to you, as a woman who lives in India and has lived in various cities in India, nobody is safe. Nobody is safe. And unless we take account of that, as a government and as a people, and we demand stringent, big bang, demonetization level reforms to make women safer, it is not going to happen.
Living with something which has been wrong and been continued for so many years, or is it that we have to together involve ourselves?
So what are you doing so far? What are you doing so far? What has been done so far? Rahul Easwar, let's agree that this is a problem that our country has carried for many, many decades, many, many years, many, many centuries. What is being done now? Why do we have to live with this problem? And let's point out the fact that the numbers are getting worse.
Nobody disagrees that there is a problem. Everybody understands and respects the women's sentiments on this problem. But at the same point of time, we shouldn't be over-alarmist, over-emotional about such a sensitive issue. We should have some kind of a maturity when we deal with such a subject. And we cannot express any magic wand to solve all the problems. There are some short-term solutions, there are some mid-term solutions, and some long-term solutions. Of course, like everybody is demanding, they need to have
really,
some...
That's what we are hearing for many,
we need
many
to have
years,
cameras all over. And please don't have a narrative of victimism.
No magic wand.
Please don't demean 125 crore people.
Women are being victimized at the alarming rate that they are. This is not a narrative, Rahul Easwar. This is our reality. Do not turn this around and make this a narrative. This is not a narrative. This is our reality. Why should I, as a woman, appeal to a man's fatherly instincts? What if it is your daughter? What if it is your sister? What if it is your mother? Why? I am a woman in this country. I am not going to appeal to your patriarchal sentiments and say, but please account for my safety because tomorrow your daughter will not be safe. No. Account for my safety because it is a constitutional right afforded to me.
Absolutely.
And as for discrimination against the transgender community, what about 377? That is discrimination right there. As for enough laws are being afforded to women, Criminal Law Amendment Act, marital rape is not a crime in our country. So don't tell us that enough is being done, that we have rights and that our safety is still a privilege for women in India. Maybe it is a privilege for politicians' children, but it's not a privilege for women who take to streets, who have got safe in their own home. And don't call this victimization. People disconnected from reality would try and paint this as victimization. This is our reality. And we're not going to beg anymore. As Ranjana Kumari rightly said, we're pissed off and we're going to demand for accountability.
Constitutional fathers promised gender equality. Unfortunately, there were no constitutional mothers.
With the fact that they were fathers.
People were constitutional fathers. They promised all the gender equality.
We know for 70 years.
They were
For
always
70 years you are enjoying the equality. We are not.
But please remember,
there were several things promised to us in the Constitution, not any of which is being delivered.
You are enjoying the privileges of this system.
Vikram Singh.
Even woman reservation was an idea mooted by men. Men wanted to
Mr. Malik and Mr. Rahul would be...
Please don't forget and
Mr. Rahul, Mr. Malik.
Come on now, don't talk nonsense.
Agreed. Mr. Rahul, you are such a sensitive and such a versatile resource person. May I request that discretion is the better part of valor? Let us all first patiently listen to the learned ladies and let us then react after thinking and premeditation. Let us not just jump the gun and speak without preparation. Faye, I would reiterate that you have made very pertinent points. And again, a small suggestion to Mr. Malik and to everybody who matters in governance, that I have personally found 3 ingredients, 326A of the IPC, then section sub 2 of the National Security Act public order. That should also be invoked. And the third, wherever applicable, Makoka and also the UP Control of Gundas and Gangsters Act, in which you confiscate all movable and immovable property. Let me tell you, that will deprive the person of all perversion and he will not look towards women if you do all the 3. There was 0 crime after you invoked the 3 provisions, NSA, Makoka and 326A. But what we generally do in the police, treat this with a band-aid, whereas you should have gone in for a bypass surgery.
Not enough is being done, and acid should not be available in any market for any purpose. Acid is a weapon. And like Vikram Singh pointed out, acid is cheap and it's easily available, and it's life-threatening and it ruins people's lives. I don't understand why the government has not outlawed acid entirely. What possible justification could there be to buy a bottle of acid over the counter for 30 rupees? If you need cleaning solutions, there are plenty of cleaning solutions available in the market that won't ruin people's lives. Amee Yajnik, the truth is, while there are women representatives in our political parties, is there enough of a voice for those women in parliament? Is there enough of a voice for those women in various state governments?
No, there is enough voice. I just mentioned that there are enough laws, but there is no will to implement these laws. There is no will to create an apparatus where these women in general can be empowered even with the awareness. There is no sensitization in the police, and the mindset of the people has not changed. So where are the PCR vans? Where are the CCTV cameras? Where is the budget for all this to monitor all this? If there's a constant vigil, I think there can be a curbing on these kind of offenders. But if you're talking of having a database of already committed offenders, what about these new offenders who are coming in the picture? Where is the deterrent punishment for them? Where are the cases being tried summarily, say within 3 months? Where is the police investigating the matter in a very sensitive way? Where are the Mahila police to be with the women? So all these are there, but where is the implementation? So there is a lack of political will. This priority is not being given to women's safety, and unless and until that is done, we need a very, very multiple pronged approach on the police front, on the NGO front, on the government front, on the state commissions, the human rights, and also for the protection of children, which is a national body. They have come out with a policy at the state level as well, but the implementation is not being done today. Even we talk about Juvenile Justice Act, we talk about stalking, but you see that the mindset has not changed. You go to a nukkad, you find 4 people just staring at a woman, whether there is any intention or not, but there is definitely a mens rea to stalk the women visibly. So this has to stop. So how do you change the mindset first? That is going to be a priority. There can be a change, but we need all the agencies to work together.
Raman Malik, several things need to be done. First and foremost, right off the cuff, acid should be outlawed. Acid should be outlawed like it's a 500 rupee note that nobody should have access to starting midnight tonight. We can do that. We've done various things in this country. Why can't we completely outlaw acid and make sure it's no longer available over the counter for anybody to use? There have been several suggestions made on this panel, all of which my team will type out an email to you so you'll have a record of it. But outlawing acid is basic, and it can be done, and it can be done overnight and immediately. Why can't the government do that?
See, the fact remains that whatever the directives were from the Supreme Court, those were implemented. This acid, whatever is available,
Pranali
they
Shah
are basically
says nothing has been implemented.
Pranali Now, what needs to be done?
Go ahead.
As per the Supreme Court judgment,
Ma'am,
things have been taken care. One is ban of acid.
Yes, go ahead.
Second is free treatment in private and government hospital. And the third thing which they have said is disability certificate to every acid survivors. Nothing has been implemented as on date. When you go to the hospital, they'll always say that we have not got the government rules. I mean, GR has not been issued. Why it has not been issued from the government? We are standing in the line, we are waiting for hours and hours and speaking to the managers, but we are not getting anything. Why is it?
Raman Malik, the GR has not been issued yet. Why not?
See, I believe that it was initiated. I am not very clear on the fact. Let me check onto it and get back to you. But the fact of the matter remains that there are certain major issues which we are not ready to talk about. And those major issues is that now it is high time that we people who have any influence on even 1% in the society need to start and talk to the society and change it. These changes have to come in our characters, the way we handle, the way we talk with women,
the way we and make it a societal issue.
We don't have that kind of time, Raman Malik. We don't have that kind of time. People are dying. We don't have time. We don't have time.
Society must change. Till society will change, women
so tell me why, Raman Malik, tell me why the government can't just outlaw acid. Very simple demand.
See, we ban something. Faye, listen to me, please.
Why have a government? Why elect a government? Why have laws? Why have police? Why have all this? Why should we? Do you know a democratic state is elected to protect its citizens?
Raman Malik, you've not been able to do anything about your Kap Panchayats in Haryana. I'm just asking you to remove acids from the shelf. Why is that so difficult?
Yeah.
Why is it so difficult? I understand you can't remove your Kap Panchayats. Why can't you remove acid?
Told me that whatever has been discussed on this debate would be mailed to me. I have certain things which are already running through my head which I would be proposing to my government. But let me come down to the major thing which we must communicate all people who are any bit center of influences in the society, that there has to be a character transformation which requires now. We had 10 years a woman super prime minister, but why did not it happen then?
Okay, all right, I've run out of time. I don't have time for this. I've run out of time.
To say is,
Raman Malik, I've run out of time.
Has to get
don't start this petty.
But he's telling a very important point. There needs to be a character change. It's a long-term goal.
You know
we
what?
have to be realistic about it.
By listening to the men on this panel, outside of Vikram Singh, I think the character change needs to happen right here on the panel. I've run out of time, but I will say this to our audience. I will say this to the women who are listening. This sort of talk, when men tell us not to be emotional, not to be overexcited, to be sensitive about issues, when they try to box us in and point out the fact that women are emotional, when they mansplain to us and become patriarchal and tell us that we're getting too emotional, we're getting too egoistic, we're making this personal, it is personal. This is personal to us. This is the life we live every day. It's not about us being somebody's sister, somebody's daughter, somebody's wife. It's about us being citizens. This is how we live every day. None of us are safe. We have a government that's refusing to be accountable. We have a government that can ban notes overnight but will not ban acid overnight. Acid is still available on the counter for 30 rupees to throw in our faces, to teach us a lesson. Because it all comes back to putting us back in our places. Let's remember that we have a women and a child ministry that has done nothing. That has done nothing for us, and that ministry needs to be accountable. That ministry needs to answer questions. The government needs to answer questions. And in the next election, ladies, this is what we will vote for. We will not let this go. We will not be told not to be emotional. We will not be told not to be egoistic. We will not be told not to make it personal, because it is personal, and we are emotional, and we are women, and you have to deal with it. Thanks for watching.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Magicbricks Now. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at Magicbricks Now. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/Magicbricks Now.